Welcome to the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr. I am a transformational mindset and business coach and six-figure award-winning female entrepreneur. Ladies, I'm here to tell you that business and making money doesn't have to be hard when you're in alignment and flow. Inside this podcast, I will be showing you how to transform your mindset to program it for success, how to maximize your money vibrations, and how to redesign your business for ultimate financial and time freedom. You know you are meant to live an epic life. Now it's time to claim it. Hi ladies, welcome to another episode of the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr, and I am excited by an incredible guest expert today, Lisa Williams, aka the Vision Board Queen, who is going to talk all about her recent, or very recent, literally in the last few days, book launch that has already seen her hit #1 Amazon bestseller status. So thank you so much for coming, Lisa.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. It is a privilege to be here. I'm very excited.
I'm so excited. I feel like I've been kind of following your journey with this book very closely, and I'm just so excited for you. Like, you poured your heart and soul into this project, and I think it just is, what you've created is amazing. So thank you again for being here today. It would be great just for anybody that doesn't necessarily know you or is new to your kind of work that you do. Would you mind just giving them like a proper intro to your journey to this point?
Yeah, of course. So like Rebecca said, my name is Lisa Williams. I'm also known as the Vision Board Queen. And I help predominantly female businesswomen to create their blueprints for their dream life using vision boards so that they can live the life and the freedom that they desire. And the journey that's got me to creating this, for those who are watching the visual, is that I was in a very lost place. I was in a very dark place back in 2017, and I started to make changes in my life by being introduced to the personal development world. And through that, I then went on to create my first vision board. I then went on to have some very personal success stories around vision boarding. And I kind of had this feeling that more people need to know about this. More people need to do this. More people, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Okay. Talking from somebody who has never been like, I've never had a high paying career. I've never, I've come from a council estate, I've come from a small town. There's not been those opportunities available to me to have big successes. And so if I can do it, anyone could do it. And that's kind of what kind of gave me that fire to bring vision board into my online community. And from that, obviously over the last 3.5 years, I have done many of workshops, online coaching. I've got a membership, and I kept this vision of bringing it all into one place to reach more people was really, really powerful. And that's when I got into looking about how to create a book. And that's how the book became a vision for me.
I just love it as well. I think we're quite aligned in that way, in that it wasn't like, we sat up one day and thought, how can we make some money? Let's do that. It was like both of our businesses have come from that real, like, I need to help. Like, there's more people that need whatever it is that's in my head and that I can help with. Like, I need to get out there more. And that's what I love. So are you happy to share some of the things on your vision board that's come true?
Yeah, absolutely. So my very first vision board, it's pretty much the life that I live now. On that vision board, there was an engagement ring. We then went on to have our dream wedding. There was a baby. I now have a 3-year-old toddler. Well, she's a toddler, but she isn't a toddler. She's too strong-minded to be a toddler. But she was our rainbow baby. She was like the blessing after the storm. Our dream home. So I had a 4-bedroom house on there. That is now where we live. I had a selfie of Gary Barlow on there. I got my selfie with Gary Barlow. What else was on there? I'm just going to have a quick scan over to see what else I can remember. Holidays were on there. I've had the holidays that were on there.
You went to Disney, didn't you?
Yeah, so Disney was on my very first vision board. We went to Disney this year in May. Other holidays that we've had throughout that, business goals were on there, like leaving my paid employment was on there. All of that has been achieved. So that life that I created on that first vision board is pretty much what I live now.
Oh, I just love that. That's so good as well. And I love it, especially like obviously where you say you've got the baby. This now means that as like a family unit now, you can literally, you know, start as you mean to go on. Think as like the legacy and what you'll then be teaching your daughter in terms of like personal power. Because I think that's ultimately what we're saying, isn't it? It's like you can essentially, regardless of where you come from, what your background is, your capability, or the perceived opportunities that are available to you, you are so powerful that you can manifest anything. Actually, nothing's like out of your reach, and that's what I
have
love.
Already noticed that with my eldest daughter, who's 10. She applied to be head girl this year at school. She didn't get the role, but the fact that she applied for that role to me was massive, because I would never have applied for that at 10. I would never have got up in front of the school and spoke at 10 years old. I would not have had that confidence. I've not have believed in myself. And she has that belief, and she has that inspiration and motivation to go and actually put herself out there. And that, to me, I can see that in her already. And that really, it is leaving that legacy for them.
Because that's the thing, I say this to my clients all the time, like they've got such a big heart and so much like love that they want to pour into their kids, but monkey see monkey do. Like kids will learn far more by witnessing you living your best life, being kind to yourself, like going after those big audacious goals yourself, than you just telling them they can do it, you know. So you've obviously like embodied that, and now they are doing the same thing. I love it. I've also got a 10-year-old, so we're obviously like pregnant around the same time.
Because what's your youngest now? Because
she's just turned 2. But honestly, an absolute psychopath. Like I always joke, because my mum passed in between like Luciano, who's now 5, and Aviana, and this is my mum's legacy. Like she's literally given me the baby from hell. She doesn't sleep, like she's just an absolute whirlwind. All of my other kids were just so easy and so good, and she is like, I'm here to fuck shit up. Like
I maybe it was the year of the year they were born, because
babies.
Talia was definitely a whirlwind. She is like a hurricane, and I wouldn't change her for the world, but Jesus, I am not used to that busy like mind of like, oh my God, what is going on?
Yeah, we were just talking a second ago. Actually, we could talk about this now, couldn't we? Mum life, trying to like run a business, have a legacy, do the thing, like be a good person, and then also trying to navigate that around little people, especially when you work for yourself. Like if anything, I kind of it's almost like I've got so much freedom, and I've only got 2 days childcare, that I kind of forget, like I still need to work and everything in between, and then trying to do it around her. It's like, well, this just got interesting. How do you manage it?
How do I manage it? I have a planner. I've got a planner.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
You do planners as well?
Yes. So this is obviously this year's. Next year's hasn't been created just yet, because I've been too busy focused on creating the book. But I create a planner. I've been creating them since 2020. 2021 was the first one that I brought out, and it just gives me like the time to really make sure I schedule that time into work, making sure that I'm giving the time for the kids, you know, making sure that I time block things out, setting my goals each week to make sure that I'm on track to where I want to go. It just gives me that tool that I've got that allows me to do everything that I want to do, because I'm not here to play small. I'm not here to, you know, sit around and, you know, watch Netflix every night. I'm not that person. So my planner gives me that tool. And some people struggle with planning and time blocking and things like that. But my one thing is like, once you make it a habit of doing it, it becomes so much easier.
Yeah, it's intentionality, isn't it, really? Like sometimes like time blocking and things can feel a bit restrictive. Like I've got ADHD, I'm a manifesting generator. Like the thought of feeling tied into anything I find quite restrictive. But when I reframed it for myself, that actually this is about being intentional, like like I always say to my clients, you only get so many fucks to give in a day. You've got to be intentional about where they go and where your energy is being used. So it's like money, same with money mindset and all the things, isn't it? It's like you get, the money's going anyway, you get to decide how you feel about it and where it's going. So it's the same with your time. Yeah, I totally get that. That's interesting that you said though about how you're not here to play small and you're happy to like do the work and things. That's quite refreshing. I was just having a conversation with my business bestie Gemma, and I was saying like it's almost become this trend where people just want to do as little as possible work and everything else, like for as much. And I was like, as much as I'm all about like leveraging your time and energy and getting the most bang for your buck, I get a lot of fulfillment from my work. I'm not looking to bypass the process and not be involved. Like I love to be like having the conversations and getting to know my like the people in the communities and stuff that I manage. And like I find it quite fun on a Saturday night doing a little like landing page on Kajabi. Like this for me is like my escapism almost from the mum life and the everything else. It's like I love being with my kids and everything else, but when they're not there, it's like this is like a creative outlet more than a chore, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of mum life, let me just pop myself on mute 1 second.
Oh, that was so funny because I was wondering if that was your baby or mine. I was like, is that Aviana? This is the thing, ladies. Anybody that watches my podcast knows that we move and we get things done. And I think it's always about the inspired action, messy action, getting it done, especially when you've got a mission and you're not here to muck around. Like you just do the thing, regardless of the kids and things that we perceive as barriers for getting in our way. But the reality is like the more that the kids see you work and do the thing, the more that they then learn and start to embody that that's okay as well. Definitely as a mum, I feel very passionate about not having to choose and not feeling this sense of I can do this or I can do this. I think you can do both. So we give ourselves grace and space to do that. So I'm just going to circle back to the Facebook group, see if there are any questions. But otherwise, yeah, that's thank you, Liz.
Apologies.
Oh no, I was just saying like we literally just said 2 minutes ago, like our kids learn by watching us, not having to choose, finding ways to get it done, to do what we want to do, plus be with them as well. So actually that was a very symbolic gesture, I think.
Yes.
Very
and it was right on cue as always.
And it was that moment where I was like, is that my baby? I should come back. I don't know. Oh, but I love it. So how, with that in mind, like obviously, God, I've been in your communities and they're amazing. Like you're really active, you're in there, you always seem to be like doing something. There's always events going on, and you're always like supporting other women in business. Obviously you're super intentional with your time as well, but literally how was your process with writing the book in collaboration with that?
So writing the book actually, wasn't that hard. I struggled to get into it. So at the beginning, I struggled to get into it. But I think it was more the fact that I felt like I had loads of time because I'd set myself like a target of when I wanted it to be out by, and I wanted it specifically to be out around Baby Loss Awareness Week, because obviously that links in with my personal story of where I started. But the first few months, I was like, just wrote a few bits here and there, and I didn't really dedicate the time that it needed in the first three months. I'd say I was very much, I can do some more next week, I'll do some more next week. But then once I got to the point around May time of this year, I'd already booked my editor for July, and I was like, right, I need to get my head down now. And I made sure it was on my to-do list, and I worked out how many words I had to write per day in order to achieve the target of what I wanted to achieve.
How many did you get to? This is like, I love it because I'm writing as well, so I'm like, how many words did you get to?
My book's 30,000, just over about 31,000 it is.
Amazing. That's so good. That's so good.
So yeah, and I worked out like when I got at the point where I was, I had to write about 1,000 words a day.
A day?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. So we were kind of debating this, weren't we? Because we've kind of been like piggybacking and supporting each other on our own like book writing journeys along the way. And I found it really hard. Like I had to literally just give myself no out whatsoever. Like, you've got a week to do this, do it. Like, literally. And I think I probably wrote 50% of the book in 1 week, because I couldn't, I can't do the little and often thing. Like, it just doesn't work for me. But you're a little bit more disciplined, I think.
Yeah, I think everyone's different. I think some people go away and shut themselves away and just write it all in like 1, 2, 3 hits. That isn't how I worked. And I prefer to kind of have a structure. So every time I was writing something, I wanted to make sure it fitted in with that structure and it fitted in with the plan where it was. And then I spoke a lot from the heart, so I wanted to make sure they were quite heart-warming bits. And I actually wrote better in the evening. I tried to do some in the day and it just didn't flow. I was getting distracted by emails coming in or notifications coming in and responding back to this task and that task. So I found it better to write at night where there was less distractions.
Yeah.
So for me, it really worked better like that. So I would make sure that once I'd done everything that I needed to do, the last thing on my list was to write that 1,000 words for that day. I would sit down and write that. And sometimes it might have been even 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's so good though. That's so good for you that you found your way. I'd love to know your human design type, by the way.
Manifester.
Interesting. Like, oh my God, you're the first real life manifester that I've ever come into contact with. I've only ever read for like generators, manifesting generators, projectors. Like, that's so interesting. So, and essentially that is the thing, like, as a manifester, you don't necessarily work in cycles like everybody else does. Like, whereas me, I'm like, I need to go all in and then I need to come out, and then I need to go all in and then I need to come out. You're probably like just more methodical in your approach, but you're a trailblazer. Literally, that is your energy. So you will find your own way, do your own thing. And there is no kind of blueprint as to how that's done. Like, you're not one that's going to be looking around and being like, oh, well, they kind of did that thing, so I'll do it. You've got that real potential to create your own path. Like, people like Steve Jobs, people that are really innovative, are typical like manifestors, where they just kind of do their thing, like find their own way, create the next thing that nobody's even thought of. So that's really interesting. I need to do your chart. Like, you need to like send me your details. I do that for fun, like, because I've never read for a manifestor before. So definitely then, in terms of like your sales and marketing and all of those things as well, absolutely, like, be bold, be outspoken, like, do it your own way, all of the things. I was just saying actually that your journey today, because you did kind of go through like that structured, like you obviously had a launch plan and everything in place. You hosted an absolutely like goals book launch event. I've got the CEO brunch in December, and I'm going to kind of piggyback, but my friend Gemma actually came to me and said, oh my God, did you see Lisa's event? It's so beautiful. I was like, I know, like, literally I want to go to all of her birthday parties. I want to go to all of her things. Like, I just loved it. And I love that you really anchored in that moment, but definitely with the kind of like more structured approach that you've taken, that would be really good at sharing with other people, like as a little mini course or something.
Yeah, so I actually have been approached by a few people already asking me how I've kind of created the whole process and from start to finish. So that's probably so, and that's exactly what I do though, whether it be a book, whether it be a membership, or whether it be, you know, whatever the vision is. If you've got a vision, I want to help you achieve that vision. You know, that is exactly what I do. So, and then along that way, you're going to hit those blocks, you're going to hit those bumps in the road. And that's where my support in terms of mindset support to help you, and the NLP side of stuff that I've got, that's where that will come in to help you with that. But bringing that vision to life is exactly what I love to do. So if you have got a vision that you want and you want it bringing to life, then you know, that's why I'm here. That's why I love doing like my VIP days, you know, for ladies who like I've worked with some ladies this year who have launched businesses and having that vision of the business. We've created the website, we've created landing pages, create funnels for them, just bringing that vision to life and then them launching the business.
That's amazing. Oh my God. So you're literally helping, like, practically, strategically, emotionally, spiritually, like all of the things. So why do you think, well, I mean, obviously, you know, and I'm absolutely going to read the book. Oh, I'm also in the book, by the way, anybody that's listening, just as a little
just drop that in
contribution. I forgot to say that. But again, that's how aligned I feel to the work that you do. Like, obviously, of course, I would absolutely love to collab on that. I'm just now thinking, like, as we're speaking, oh, we should collab on some things. That would be amazing. But so for anybody that's like, yeah, I've kind of got like this vague like idea of where I want to go, what is the power of really like leaning into having the specifics? Because does this work? Would you say that this works? So obviously, because I use human design, there's different methods of manifestation. So one is obviously specific, where you are literally getting the picture, the thing, the bag, the detail. And then there's the non-specific, where it's more about the feeling and the emotion and the sort of broader views. Like, do vision boards work for both people, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. So vision boards in itself, you know, you can be being very specific. Obviously, you know what you want, you've got the feelings to attach to that, you've got the image of it, you're being specific with that. But if you don't have a physical image, then putting your feelings there, putting that emotion into it, putting the wording that you want to achieve, that is also still setting that intention behind it. You're still creating that vision, although you don't actually know what that vision is yet. Creating the feelings, you're going to step into that feeling, and once you're in that feeling, then you can start being more clearer on what you actually want.
Yeah, I think your boundaries, it's like the brain likes to move towards pleasure and away from pain, doesn't it? But it can be quite hard when you're feeling quite stuck until you've really like immersed yourself in that feeling of what your future self looks like, to then go back to like, oh, and now I'm stuck again. Like, there's nothing more compelling, is there, than to really take that inspired action towards your goals. So I totally get that. And I love that yours are always like super like visual, aren't they? As in they've got like beautiful colors and words and things. I've seen some of your boards on your like socials and stuff, I think, before in your stories, or am I just stalking you? I'm like, I'm sure you've had them up there somewhere.
No, I would have
Yeah.
shared them at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you do usually share a selfie with my vision board and stuff like that, so you would have definitely seen one. My boards are very pink, basically.
Yeah, it's like, I love it as well, because I was just looking on your profile earlier and I was like, yes, I love all of this pink. I'm so here for the beautiful like vibes. Obviously I love pink anyway with the flowers, but I was just going to ask with your book, actually, sorry, super quick, just to circle back, like, is there anything that you would do differently now you've been through the whole journey and the whole cycle, and obviously you've got such an incredible achievement with your bestseller status? Like, is there anything that you would kind of change in hindsight?
No,
you're happy with the process?
Yeah, I'm happy with the process, happy with everything that I've put in it. I'm happy with, there's nothing I would have changed. Absolutely nothing. And I think the process that I gave myself to do it in worked for me.
Yeah, so it was like super structured, kept yourself accountable, had a team to support, obviously, with your editor, which is great, because a lot of the time, like, we have these big dream goals, don't we? And then we don't really set ourselves up for success to actually do that thing. Like, we're expecting ourselves to turn up as like, even though we know that we're a little bit like need to have accountability and everything else, it's about that radical self-awareness, isn't it? It's like, actually, if you know you're the kind of person who thrives in this environment versus this, like, you've got to make sure you're putting yourself in the best.
Yeah, and I know that the editing side, and that isn't my strongest point, so that's why I got an editor. Everything else I've literally done myself. There's not been another part of the book process that I have used or outsourced anything. So
even the cover and the art?
Yeah, everything.
Oh my God, that's a little side hustle for you, Lisa, because I thought the branding was fantastic.
Yeah, so everything, the cover. The hardest part was the bloody spine. In the spine, right, was the hardest part. Okay, even ahead of the writing, okay, that was the hardest part. That is the one part that I felt like I wanted to throw my laptop out the window.
Oh my God, is that because of Amazon KDP?
Yeah, because every time it literally has to be on point, and even a millimeter, it was throwing it back. So I think it took me about 10 times to get it right.
Oh my God. Did you use their editor, or did you just upload your own cover?
Just uploaded my own cover because I didn't really understand their editing.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah.
So I just did it all myself and uploaded it and uploaded it and uploaded it and uploaded it and uploaded it. And I was like, oh my God, I was going to my husband, why would it not go right? Why is it throwing it back? And then
on the smallest thing as well.
Finally accepted it. And I was like, oh my God, that has been like the hardest part. That was like literally the one bit I was like, you know, I'll write another 10,000 words against doing that again.
Oh my God, I love it. So do you have another book in you? Have you already thought about what could come next?
I don't have another book in me yet in terms of vision boarding for me, but I am possibly looking at doing a collaboration book with other people's vision stories of their dreams of coming reality.
And would you kind of be the author and facilitator
Yeah,
of
so
that?
I'd facilitate the book, and then obviously get the people to share their stories along with practical tips to help them, practical tips to help the reader,
Yeah.
how they've, because there's no point in just sharing stories and leaving it. I want the people to take away something from the book. So it would still be a personal development book, but it would have other people's stories and how they achieved that vision, rather than my stories and what tools I've used.
Yeah, because that's the thing, like it's so different, isn't it? A lot of the time, like things that I've manifested over the years, like I couldn't have predicted that in a million ways, a million years, how that was going to come to me. It was like, divine inspiration, or, just random occurrences, which obviously we know aren't random, but it was just like I couldn't have predicted that in a million years. So I guess the more stories and the more interesting ways that things have happened and come to fruition for people, the more that people can then see for themselves, like, actually, even though it feels like the odds against me and I couldn't even see in a million years how that could work, you just never know. And sometimes it's just that spark of hope, isn't it? That actually,
yeah, and I think that's kind of what I want people to be inspired by the book. So it's kind of having that inspirational story with stuff and like inspired action that they could go away and actually implement. So yes, watch this space. Who knows? 2024.
Yeah, I think it's, well, on that note, actually. So yeah, I don't know about you, but I do feel like this big energy around 2024. I know you're quite spiritual like me, and I talk to anybody that's like a little bit woo-woo. I'm like, have you had this? But where I have like a lot of clients in spiritual circles, they've talked about this energy coming in towards the end of the year, which is quite similar to COVID. So I've noticed a lot of people are going through like this almost like dark night of the soul, suddenly feeling like they've outgrown elements of their business. Could just be because it's the end of the year, but it definitely feels like it's been mounting where they are, like I say, outgrowing elements of their business. Things are kind of shifting, and so therefore going into 2024, it's like it's almost like anything is possible, like big shifts forward, hopefully, for the collective.
Yeah, I think I know for myself personally, I can't speak for anybody else, that I am making some changes in my business, and I'm going to be letting some things go and, welcoming in some new things and making some changes to my Vision Board Academy membership. So I think, yes, there probably is some shifts going on. There are changes I actually wanted to make like earlier in the year, but it just never felt the right time. So maybe because I'm pushing towards the end of the year, it feels more aligned to make those changes.
Yeah, because it's symbolic, isn't it? Like a new year, it always feels like a brand new start. I feel like that most Mondays, actually, to be
New
fair.
year, new vision board. If you haven't got
Yeah.
one already.
My God, do you know what? I haven't, and I've always really struggled with like public declarations in terms of what I want. So I don't know if you find this a lot with women specifically, that if you work with women, is that sometimes we can either feel a little bit disconnected with what we want, especially when you're a mom and you're used to wearing like lots of different hats, but also like I still have that element of like holding back a little bit, where I'm like, I don't want to look silly if it doesn't work out.
That's covered in here.
Oh, can't wait. I'm going to come to it. I can't wait, because I was thinking like I'd love to have a big vision board, but then equally it's like, because I've got one on my phone, so I have like an app that I use and I still connect with it, but it's almost like it's like my private secret. But all these things, and yeah,
And there'll be
very
a reason why you want to keep that private. It's
yeah.
tapping into that reason, isn't it?
Yeah. So I imagine, like, let me know in the Facebook group, or if you're following along on YouTube or the podcast, let me know if you feel the same. It's so funny. But yeah, so what is on your vision board then? I'd love to know, like, what are you calling in, either before the end of the year or for next year?
This was asked at the book launch party, actually. I think my husband did a Q&A. So
amazing.
So he asked questions. I didn't know what he was going to ask as well. And he did ask that question, what's next? And I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I think I've done the book, and because it's such a big vision, I feel like I needed to sit in that energy and kind of let what's coming come to me, flow to me.
Yeah.
So I have got some changes I want to make with the academy, and I am planning another vision board challenge, which is something I do every year anyway, but I haven't got that next big step, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And equally, we can get into that trap where it's like the next thing, the next thing. So I think it's really good that you're giving yourself the grace and the space to actually just ground into this moment and enjoy it. Because, like you say, it's such a big project that it almost feels like birthing a child, where it's like,
It
can we just
literally
be in the
does. I
new?
said that.
Yeah.
It is like 9 months it's took me to create this book. And I
Yeah.
do physically feel like I have birthed a book.
Yeah. And it's like that newborn bubble, isn't it? Where you just want to kind of enjoy
Yeah.
it. So I love that.
It's absolutely crazy. I've had like 3 press articles done this week, and then obviously the bestseller, and then day 2 of being bestseller today. It is absolutely crazy. It does feel like you're in that energy of,
Yeah. I love it though, and I love that your husband is so supportive as well. Like he's always in your pictures and like helping with bits, isn't he? Would you say he's like
yes.
your biggest cheerleader?
Possibly. I wouldn't say he cheerleads me on. He just does what he's told to do.
That's what he sound. Oh, but I love it. But for him to come and do a Q&A and MC for you, like that's amazing.
Yeah, so he's not the most confident of people. He definitely wouldn't go live or anything like that. And I was trying to think, like, because a lot of people who, obviously everyone who was at the launch party, they've heard me speak loads of times. They, most of them are in my academy, or they've known me for years. So I was like, well, how can I do this, like part of me speaking in a way that I don't plan it, if that makes sense. So it's like a natural way. And then the week before, my eldest daughter did a live Q&A with me. So we did a live on my profile where she asked me questions, and obviously I answered them as like a bit of a pre-launch kind of build up. And I was going to do a live with my husband, and then I thought, no, we'll do that actually at the event. So that's kind of what we did. So he picked 7 questions. I didn't have a clue what he was going to ask me. And yeah, it was just kind of a natural way of me sharing what people wanted to know.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, because that's the thing. Like then you get into flow, don't you? Then something like, even I was saying, I'm doing Fox News at the end of the month, and I haven't really got a clue what I'm going to say, because it's like I want it to be something that really feels like it's from the heart and it feels natural, and it's just whatever needs to be said in the moment. Like I believe in like energy, even the energy around thoughts and inspiration and those sorts of things. So I love that you've just kind of created that space. Like I'm just going to allow whatever needs to come through, and that you're also, just doing it in a really nice way, that it's like your legacy for your kids, but also you're pulling in the family, and you've got this community around everything that you do, because that's a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us today. I've been so curious about how you found the process, and just, some of the like, maybe even next goals and things that you're working on right now, because it's always really interesting. Every time I speak to you, you've always got like lots of things going on. But I think your journey and the way that you've kind of, articulated it in the way that you weren't, not to be patronizing in any way, but it's like you're kind of similar to me. Like, no one told us how to do these things, we just kind of found our way. Would you say that you had like a supportive community growing up? Like I definitely didn't.
I didn't. I never had anyone telling me what to do. It was kind of like, you do what's right for you kind of thing. I never had pressure in terms of doing what you wanted to do. But I never had somebody encouraging me at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, if you want to go to uni, go to uni. So I went to uni, did that. And I didn't really get the recognition from that.
What was your career?
I did a law degree.
Oh, wow. So did you move into law? Is that what you moved away from with your vision board stuff?
No, I moved back home and then went into work in accounting. So nothing to do with law. So my career background is finance, accounting, payroll.
Yeah. Oh my God. So it's like a complete polar opposite to like where you are now, where you're an entrepreneur, you've got that freedom-based lifestyle, personal development. Like I had a very corporate background in HR as well, and it was like, God, if I was talking about like manifestation, energy, like I've not been this person my whole life. It's like I kind of just was a bit curious, then just fell down a rabbit hole. And then I was like, now I just believe in all the things. And it's so interesting, like sometimes on my LinkedIn profile I forget that there's still people there from my corporate days that must be like, is she okay? Like what is she talking about? Because they would not recognize that version of me. Because as much as I've always been a little bit of a rebel and a little bit outspoken, I was definitely not like this person, which is an interesting question actually. How have you found that then moving into entrepreneurship has really like revealed those layers of your personality and your potential?
It's definitely revealed lots more. Like it's obviously shown that I've got like organization skills, you know, the ability to actually be self-motivated. I've learned a lot more about myself that I never really got to actually utilize in career, because it was always, you're always drip fed what you need to do, where you need to go, what's the next thing. You don't really have to use your own skills as you do, but they're not the same when you're an entrepreneur. Like I've got some clients who struggle with that time management. They really struggle with being self-motivated, and they say, oh, I watched something on Netflix last night. I'm like, well, why didn't you work? Like, I know it's not about working every night, but if you've got time to watch Netflix but you haven't got time to grow your business, that's kind of where, well, to me, growing my business is more important. So I would spend that time growing my business.
Yeah, it's like stop trying to escape your current life when you still have the potential to actually change it. Because that's ultimately what they're trying to do, aren't they? With Netflix, it's a form of escapism. It's like,
and I'm not saying I never watch it. I do watch it. I do binge watch things, but that's to me then my downtime. It's not my whole time. I don't put all my energy into that, but it is my downtime once or twice a week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got Netflix on all the time when I'm cooking, because I'm like, I hate cooking notoriously. I'm like, if I've got to do it, I'm going to enjoy it while I'm doing it. And just have that distraction on in the background. Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate your time and energy. Like you must be in hot demand right now with everything that's going on and all of the incredible like highs and no doubt opportunities that are going to come off the back of this. I cannot wait to get my copy. Obviously, if anybody wants to get theirs, it's on Amazon, isn't it? So it's Vision Board Blueprint. Vision Board Blueprints. I'll put the link in the show notes as well, and obviously in the group. But is there anything, like for anybody that's curious, anybody that has that kind of inner like, oh, this isn't meant to be my life, but you know, I'm not brave enough right now, is there like one takeaway that you would tell people to then move them on to vision boarding?
So my biggest tip here, and I've literally just responded to this on another podcast as well, is the fact that you need to learn to believe in yourself first. So if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to believe in your visions. So the book is filled with some self-belief, self-love tips as well, because that inner belief in you is really, really important, to believe in those dreams and desires.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. That's a great place to end the episode. Thank you so much, ladies, for everybody that has been following along in the Facebook group. And obviously make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, do all the things, and go and follow Lisa, because she will probably change your life, literally. And I'm so grateful to have her today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. It's been amazing to share this time with you, and I feel honoured to be part of your journey. If you've loved what you've heard, had an aha moment, or found value in this episode, then please do like, comment and share. I would love to connect with you on Instagram and Facebook, so come and find me, and I look forward to helping you build your epic life.